Welcome back to the Tracy Take. I am Tyler here with my brother Ryan, and today we are doing the Buffalo Bills 3-round mock draft. We did a full 3-round mock draft with all 32 teams, and these will be the Bills selections. But before we get into that, we have a fun announcement. If you like putting a couple bucks down on some NFL games or even during March Madness, which is going on right now, click the link down below. We have partnered with BetUS for all of our viewers to maybe enjoy the game just a little bit more here if they like to put a couple bucks down on the game. Everything from Masters coming up here, the Triple Crown horse races coming up here. Also, if you want to bet on who's going to be drafted first overall in the NFL draft, or even just start betting on the games, they have a fun 125% match for all first-time players for their first 3 deposits. So click the link down below to take advantage of that promotion. While you're at it, like this video, subscribe to the Tracy Take, and also ring the bell to get notified when new Bills content is created. And Ryan, with that being said, we want to go over the offseason moves that they have made so far. Kind of a crazy offseason, I would say, for the Bills. A lot of departures, but a lot of neat additions, I think, in unique ways, I would say. So I think the biggest place to start would be their secondary. They made a big splash. They made a bunch of releases. They actually, if I'm not even mistaken, they did re-sign actually one of the guys as well. Like, wasn't Taylor Rapp one of those guys?
No, the one guy that they released and then re-signed, which may have just been like conflicting reports, was Dion, the left tackle.
Dion Dawkins. And so,
Dion Dawkins,
And so we don't have him on here. These are just some of the notable ones, but they did extend a lot of the offensive line guys here. But defensively, though, in the secondary, moving on from Jordan Poyer, moving on from Dane Jackson, I think are some big moves as well. I also think, too, they cut Tre'Davious White as well.
Yeah, they did cut Trey White. They cut Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde. I believe
so. I'll go back and double check that. But they have, I would say, they moved on from Gabe Davis as well. But I think that addition of Curtis Samuel, I'm actually very intrigued, I think, by that addition. Don't worry about Matt Collins as a Falcons fan. And so he actually, Matt Collins is going to be Gabe Davis light. You know, he's going to be that big deep ball guy. But they have made some good additions and re-signs overall, all things considered, because the Bills were coming into the offseason with just a poor cap situation. But as a Patriots fan, what do you think of this Bills team now and some of the offseason moves that they have made?
I don't know what to think, honestly, because I thought this defense was going to be bad last year, and they actually were one of the better ones in the league. But it's really hard, I think, when you have not just the turnover that they did, but also like the leadership turnover. Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer were the leaders of this defense. Like Gabe Davis, I played a big part in this locker room as well. I know, obviously, on the offensive side of the ball, Josh Allen leads the show. But again, it's interesting to kind of see what they were going to do. And to me, of all those names that I've said, Mitch Morse might be the biggest loss in this offseason. And like, he's now in Jacksonville, enjoying the sunny weather. And like, that is where like they put themselves in a situation with the cap where they had to create these holes. And I just am curious to see where they go from here. Cause to me, from the outside looking in, and granted, I'm a Patriots fan, so maybe I'm just trying to speak this into existence. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. But I just feel like the window is closing on their shot, because you look at Stephon Diggs, he's approaching 30. I believe he turns 30 in November, December. Like, this offensive line lost Mitch Morse. This defense, they have a tremendous amount of turnover, starting with Tremaine Edmonds from last year. And then I believe they still only have 2 or 3 defensive tackles on the depth chart. I guess they got more back, but the Casey Toohill, Nicholas Morrow, like where do those guys fit into this rotation, and can they play at the same level as the guys before? So it's going to be really interesting, and it's going to be a lot of wild cards, I think, for this Buffalo Bills team.
You know, and I think that's one of the things as well, and probably one of the more underrated things that they did is the reason why the defense, in my opinion, was so good last year was their front seven, especially the defensive line.
Yeah.
And so re-signing Daquan Jones as well, I think even getting a guy like Casey Toohill from Washington, and then re-signing AJ Espinosa. Some key moves, I think, just to keep sorry, my bad.
If you watch this channel, Tyler can't pronounce names.
I'm horrible. I almost said empanada. But and no offense to any Empanada lovers out there. And so, but I think for a lot of teams now, it's like if you have a great secondary, that's great. But if your defensive front seven is poor, then there's good luck because those guys can only cover these receivers for so long. And I think it's one of the areas where the Bills have been pretty dominant, has been the edge rusher and the defensive tackle position as well. And I think re-signing some of these guys here, I think we might even see them splash a little bit more on the defensive tackle position as well because they did lose some other guys, such as Tim Settle and the defensive line. And so they only have 2 picks in the top 100, thanks to the compensatory pick in their 3rd round, and now got adjusted to the 4th rounder. But so we ended up going with Tyler Nubin here. 28th overall. Can absolutely see them going with Jersey Newton, defensive tackle. I could see them going receiver as well if they want to address that position. A lot of different ways I think this Bills team can go here. I can see them trading up as well if they want to go get a guy that they really like. It's just going to be very unique. And Tre'Davious White is not on the roster anymore. Micah Hyde is not on the roster anymore, according to our lads. And also over the cap as well, just confirming both of this. So if we're wrong, they're also wrong as well. So please let them know. But we went with Tyler Nubin here. Ryan, I could see them going with any freaking pick.
Yeah, I will say the more and more we talk about it, Jersey Newton, Tyler Nubin, the names we have at 28, 29, I think it's going to be one of those because if you look at the depth chart, Taylor Rapp and Mike Edwards are the only 2 safeties that are really going to be worth anything in this year. And so you do need a 3rd safety for sure. And like DeMar Hamlin, who struggled to get on the field last year after they had all those injuries, is their 2nd strong safety on the depth chart at the moment. So that's going to be interesting. Another one, Kool-Aid McKinstry, that's at 30. Kaiir Elam was their 1st round draft pick in 2022, and he has been nothing but a bust so far. I do want to pat myself on the back and say I called that one. I was not a fan of him coming out of Florida. So
good job.
Thanks. But again, I just they need secondary help really, really bad. And so I think the best player available in the secondary is going to be the one that comes off the board. And if they do like Jersey Newton better than some of those guys, I think that's then that's the pick.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they are they're in a great position because this class is so deep. And so that's why I would not be upset with either of those picks at all, or even 2 as well. Who is their starting center now? With moving on from Mitch Morris,
Connor McGovern. They got him from Dallas, but how old is he now?
I feel like he's up there a little bit. But if they wanted to maybe address the center position well and keep beefing up that offensive line,
he's only 26.
Oh, that's old. But yeah, so I think they could go a lot of different directions here as well, especially then too. If you look at their 2nd round pick, this is where we actually had them, since they ended up not going with Jersey Newton with their 1st overall pick, having going with defensive tackle position here, kind of addressing, I would say, as what we feel their 2 biggest still needs overall of guys that they lost in the offseason. So they go with Rook Aurora here out of Clemson. I think it did okay on that name, actually.
It's a row.
A row?
Yeah.
I will do that. So, yeah. You will get me canceled. So, but Rook from Clemson, I think just a solid defensive tackle here provides some good depth piece in general for this team.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be a little bit more of a pass rushing defensive tackle. However, he has the length and the size to be able to put on some weight and be a good run defender. So I think this is a good developmental pick here for a team that needs secondary and defensive line help. Really, I could see them going either way with these picks. So maybe with Jersey Newton on the board, maybe I'd go Jersey Newton and then Cameron Kitchens, who's a guy on the side there that I really like. It's going to be that kind of true free safety role, but he can come down and deliver hits when he needs to. He plays really well with coverage. He has really good instincts. So I like this fit for Buffalo. And all in all, the Buffalo Bills, to me, are going to be best player available, especially if they really want to target the defensive side of the ball in this year's class. I think best player available is going to be the way forward for them.
Yeah, and they're just, when you're so deep into the draft, I feel like that's just kind of already their mentality. You're just trying to find those diamond in the roughs, and then you kind of space out the positions as well. And I think one of the things too, why you go safety first or secondary first is there is a drop off in overall secondary talent. Well, if you're looking at defensive interior talent, there are some good guys kind of with where they're picking in each level of the draft. And so you can maybe sit a little bit on that there. So, but who knows? We're just two dumb guys on the internet.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go ahead and wrap up that video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on what you thought of this Buffalo Bills 3-round mock draft. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you guys do differently? And on that, we will see you guys next time.